It's time for round 2 of conversation with a public school elementary teacher.
This episode of the Christian Principles Podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation. And as always, the opinions expressed within this episode are those of your hosts and not necessarily the Herzog Foundation. Welcome to the Christian Principles Podcast. I'm Matt George.
And I'm Mark Zockel. Hey, like I said, we are in our second conversation. We are blessed to be joined again by our friend Christine, elementary public school teacher, who we set the stage last time. She doesn't owe us a thing. We haven't even sent her a gift card yet for coming on. We will, but we haven't even gotten it to her yet. But like she's willing to come on and have a conversation with us. No ties, no demands. So we're pumped to have a conversation with her and just let her answers speak for themselves and to give us the context. We were commenting together after the show, and then I was where I met Christine before and where I interact with her other times. I had a conversation with her again about one of the things was realizing that we had IEPs starting in pre-K, starting there, and but not everybody gets into pre-K or has that head start, so to speak. So very interesting, and the cost associated with those things. And so there was even revelatory information for me. Not that I know everything, but kind of close anyway. Haha.
Not all of us can know everything.
Not all of us, but some of us have to, right? Okay. But getting into it for this evening to respect Christine's time and Matt's time. That's busy. He's got family coming into town. Christine, could you tell us, there is discussion about political neutrality in the public school classroom. There are those that would say the classroom needs to be a neutral space because taxpayers of all sides of the aisle, and not even on the aisle or aisles, pay for it. There was those that would say if we do not have discussions, and I would even say appropriate age appropriate discussions of political discussions of our day, we're doing our students a disservice. Could you tell me maybe start with where you are? So in the perfect, Christine, elementary school, CES, where would you come down on that? And then maybe contrast that or compare that. Maybe they're very comparable. Maybe it's high contrast, low contrast to your time in public education to this point.
I definitely feel like it probably should be politically neutral for all parties. I think it's appropriate to talk about like what's going on in the world because it's important for kids to know. The only time I ever really talked about politics in my kindergarten classroom was like a couple years ago when there was the election, because it's valid to their lives, and like they were like, oh, they were talking about who got elected and stuff like that. To be honest, I'm not really sure how much it gets talked about throughout public schools. If anything, it probably gets talked about in like the higher level history classes, if anything. I don't really think it's a big discussion of point for many elementary school teachers. We have very strict curriculums that we have to stick to. So it doesn't really give us much like leeway in kind of going off and doing our own thing. But from my observations, I really don't see much in the classrooms of like vote for Trump or anything like that, or any signs of like anybody's political party. It's pretty much like very neutral.
Gotcha.
From like what I've observed. But like I'm not a very I don't really follow politics kind of person, so like I would never bring that into my teaching.
Sure.
I'm a very independent voter, so I mean I would never sway my kids in any way or bring that into my teaching. But that's just me. I can't say for all public school teachers, but like from what I've observed, I really haven't seen much of like influencing teaching.
Follow up to that, because hey, thank you so much again for your clarity and completely appreciate that. Let me change words on you. Let's go from political to let me change ideologically neutral. And I'll even pick a couple flags for you, right? So where Matt and I come from in our day-by-day walks in a Christian school, we are going to have, I'm not sure if you've ever seen it, but there's a traditional, they call it the Christian flag. and it's got a white backdrop with a blue top left square and a red cross in that top square. So three simple colors: the red on the blue on the white. And it's the Christian flag, and on many church stages or school stages, you would see that on the opposite side of the stage from the American flag. So
Mhm.
if so I think of that as a very common, or we can think about the Ten Commandments on a wall, or the picture of a Bible on a wall, or verses. There we go, make verses on a wall. And then if I contrasted that with a I'll say a pride flag, a rainbow flag on a wall, where would you be personally with either one of those things? And so I want to move away from saying political and change it to say ideological or
Yeah.
philosophical. You see where I'm going? Where would you be
Yeah.
on those things, or where do you think the school is on those things? Where would you be on those things? That sort of thing. Go ahead.
Um, I'm very open to whatever anybody like. I would be hanging up like Disney stuff in my classroom. Like that's just how I am. Like I feel like
Hmm.
you have like freedom to decorate
Sure.
your classroom
Yeah.
or
It's
however
frozen. It's
you.
a frozen room this year. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Get used to it.
exactly. Like mine was my classroom for the last 4 years was under the sea because I love the beach and I like.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I never really hung anything up that wasn't, like, school related. That's just how I am. It was all, like, academic stuff, or, like I said, it was, like, Disney themed. But I honestly like I said, I try to stay out of the politics of it all.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I really don't know if where I work has any laws or any district wide policies based on like what you can hang up in your classroom.
Okay. Okay. So from what you understand, that would come down to, let's just say, building leadership. That's the principal's. It's the principal's call, or whatever is in the faculty manual for that.
Yeah, well, like we had to check because like I'm in the school counseling role now. Like we got sent posters that had information about like suicide awareness, and we
Mm-hmm.
even like wanted to check with our principal, and that came from like the district. Like they
Sure.
sent it to us, and we still even checked with our principal before hanging them up around the school. We checked with
Mm-hmm.
like our coordinator just to make sure, because like even those kind of signs we don't want the kids to read into them like a certain type of way, like, oh,
Sure.
suicide. So yeah, I mean, I would agree it comes from like the principal down or even like higher than that down.
No, perfect. Thank you. That's what I was looking. That's what I was looking for. Do you think you had mentioned that was you being in the lower elementary? Do you think that also is something that could be different the higher you went up in the grades?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure like the higher ups like specific content. Like I think back to like history.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like history teachers would hang stuff up like that because like of their what they teach and their role and like they probably do have stronger ideals, but and they don't have as much like I guess like academic stuff to hang up, but like honestly, in all the classrooms I walk in, I've never seen anything that I was like, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be hanging up in a
Mm-hmm.
school.
Good. Gotcha.
So I think people like understand like they're teaching children. Children are very spongy and
Mm-hmm.
can
Absolutely.
really be swayed in certain ways. So I think they're understanding of that and they don't really let their ideals take over their role as like a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I agree with 100%. They're sponges. Complete sponges.
Hey everyone, just a quick pause to talk about Gradelink's fantastic parent app. It keeps families in the loop effortlessly. Parents can check grades, announcements, and their balance from the app. Plus, it uses Face ID, so you don't have to even enter your username and password. If you want to make life a little easier for your school families, head over to cpp.gradelink.com and see how the parent app can help.
This episode is brought to you by our partners at the Herzog Foundation, whose mission aligns beautifully with ours to advance and support Christ-centered education. The Herzog Foundation exists to catalyze excellence in Christian schools, helping more children experience academic rigor, biblical truth, and strong moral character, all in a safe and nurturing environment. Whether through teacher training, principal development, or strategic media efforts, the Herzog Foundation is committed to helping you, the Christian school leader, fulfill your calling with excellence. Their vision is bold but clear, a national renaissance in Christian education that impacts culture for generations. At the Christian Principles Podcast, we're proud to stand with Herzog Foundation in that mission. Learn more at herzogfoundation.com. Together, we're building schools and futures on the rock of Christ. And as always, tell them that the fellas here at the Christian Principles Podcast sent you their way.
The last time we talked, we got into a little bit about the IEPs, and we talked about parents showing up, and even along those lines of, have you experienced parents pushing for things not to be taught, or I guess what I'm saying is there a clear line as far as, okay, we as the school have this responsibility for the kids, and then from here on, it's the parents? Is that kind of clear from your perspective?
Well, like I said before, I really had like very strict guidelines on curriculum I needed to touch. Um, so there really wasn't much room for swaying. I would teach like the week for Christmas, I would do like holiday stuff. And there are certain areas where they're like, you can't really do holiday stuff because there are children who don't celebrate those holidays.
Could you get specific? Would you mind being specific there for us? Just again, because of your very specific background in this area at those grade levels.
So like certain, I guess, like Haitian families, and they don't really celebrate the holidays. So it was more in like the other district that I worked with that they were like you couldn't specify and do like there were some Christmassy things if I did them with my students that there's like certain families I wouldn't send them home with. Like I would do that with them at school, but like I wouldn't send it home to the family because the family didn't really like or celebrate or recognize that. But to your other point, no, I don't really feel like I had much influence from the parents, like kind of voicing if they wanted something taught or not, because we really didn't have much room for like freedom of teaching
Change
topics.
things up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've mentioned that a couple of times. Just to follow up there again, did you ever feel? Let me ask this first. Did you ever come to a point of that curriculum, even in the you said it was kindergarten and first grade, or was it second grade?
And I taught
second.
second grade for a couple years too.
So K first and second is your
Yeah.
background to this point, and just the homeroom teacher wise, not the rest of the stuff you do. But so was there ever a point in K first or second in that curriculum that you were closely tied to that you got to and you're like, I know this is going to be I don't want to say pain point, but pain point amongst certain of my families, or I know that Johnny over here, his family has this ideology. And I know that this specific part of the curriculum, health curriculum gets thrown out a lot nowadays, but maybe even it was, I guess in lower grades, you wouldn't have the science or the history as much, but was there anything you came across or a worksheet you came across or anything like that you said, okay, I'm bound to be in this curriculum. I wonder if this is going to go over well, or even personally, we're like, I don't want to teach this. Have you had those thoughts about any of the curriculum that you have been so closely bound to?
No, not really. They do a pretty good job of like picking the topics. A lot of times they like pick themes, and then in those themes, like the books that they choose are very developmentally appropriate for the students, and the concepts are for like it's family friendship. We did like animals one unit. We did learn about like different countries in the world, but it was very like what was their transportation, what is their foods like. But I never really felt uncomfortable with any of the things that were expected to teach. Like even now, I'm expected to teach sexual assault lessons, and I feel like those are very needed for students to like understand like who's a safe person in their life, what's a safe touch, what's an unsafe touch. And there we do have to be like, listen, like this is scary. this can happen to anybody.
Mhm.
Honestly, like teaching those lessons have made me feel not uncomfortable, but like I have to kind of real talk with these kids right now.
Mhm. Well, just again, you're leading us in points I'm very interested in. So when you do you have that role right now? You would go into classrooms and have that discussion
Yeah,
now
as
as a
a
school
school
counselor?
counselor, we're mandated by law to teach lessons about that topic.
Mhm. So you would go all the way up to fifth you go K to 5th grade with that or a different.
No, fourth through eighth. But yes,
Gotcha, 4th through 8th, gotcha.
kindergarten through eighth grade, and I don't even probably through high school. But I did teach a lesson like that in kindergarten last year.
So in that lesson in K-5, how anatomically specific were you asked to be versus like, uh, I don't know, maybe say like, these are our I heard a friend of
Private
mine recently
parts,
said these are our bathing suit
your
areas
bathing
or our
suit
private
area.
areas
Yeah.
kinda thing. Like, are you yeah.
We do kind of refer to them as like their private areas, their bathing suit areas. When I was in the kindergarten, I would just say like anything that's covered by a bathing suit, those are your private
Mhm,
areas. They're they don't really they don't talk about the different parts of the body. They just are like, if
Mhm.
anybody
sure.
touches you in that area, like the fourth grade lesson, we read a book and it was mm, like it took place in a kingdom and the king had to watch this little boy whose mom worked to clean the castle, and they were playing a game and he would like tickle him for fun, and then it got to the point where he tickled him in a place that made him feel very uncomfortable, and it kind of like it storyatizes the like realness of the situation but like makes it more
Mhm.
developmentally appropriate for the
Mhm.
fourth grade students. And then in the
Mhm.
kindergarten, it was just like safe and unsafe touch. Who's a trusted person in your life? We talked a little bit about like no one should touch you in those private areas. But I haven't really delved into like the sixth, seventh, and eighth grade lessons yet, which we're going to kind of
Mhm.
put them together with health. So it might get a little bit more in depth,
Mhm.
but the one fifth grade lesson did kind of talk a little bit about how it was a little boy whose swim coach touched him in his private areas, and he was like asking this hotline. He's like, "Does this make me gay? I'm straight, but it was a man who touched me." And like we were kind of like, "Well,
Mhm.
why does it need to talk about sexual orientation?" But then like you
Okay.
think about it, a fifth grader, they might have those same thoughts,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Mhm.
No, no, thank you. No, this is, I don't wanna say fact finding, that's not the right word, but I'm thankful to glean what you're offering. This is awesome. Did you hear of the Charlie Kirk shooting?
Yes.
I say recently.
It
Did you hear the
was
Charlie
this
Kirk shooting?
September.
And of course, in the aftermath of that, one of the different areas that got a lot of highlighted attention was social media accounts from educators who responded to that in
Mhm.
a number of different ways. And we know that, again, without going into details, but even within what would have been the jurisdiction that you would be most familiar with, there
Mhm.
was someone put on leave for comments.
Mm.
Where do you stand on where do you stand on the social media of teachers, or maybe not even social media, but the life of teachers, what teachers put out there when they are in so many ways by so many fairly unfairly, and you tell us, expected to be role models. And I got to put this on us. So you can think about it for a second. I'll put this on us and then bring it back to you. So
Mhm.
in Matt's school right now, when his teachers sign up, Matt, you might remember some of the contract language that your teachers have, and it's going to be
Mhm.
it will very much say almost above all else. Well, definitely above all else because there's a like faith part of it. So there's a
Mhm.
salvation part of it, but uh, above all else, you are expected to be Christ-like in character, and it even enunciates what that looks like for the teachers. So
Mhm.
there's a tremendous demand on them in the Christian school pedagogy to be role models first and biblical role models first. So in that way, we would absolutely say that what is done outside it does affect your ability as a teacher to effectively be that role model. Matt, I don't want to put words in your mouth, or like, would you have
No,
anything to add to
yeah,
that?
no. The way I think we express it is as employees of Faith Baptist School, you're expected to be. You are a testimony of Faith Baptist School as such. So both in and out of the classroom. And I think we even played with a hypothetical because back with when
we did. That's right. Yeah, we did. That's
there
right.
was that, I forget.
Philly's Karen.
Philly's Karen. Yeah.
Philly's Karen. That's right.
When people were saying, "Oh, she's a teacher and she ought to be fired," which she wasn't. But we were playing with that as a hypothetical. Like, okay, what if that was one of our teachers? How would we have to deal with that and respond with it? Because that is it. You're an example, and people are going to say, "Oh, that's the way Faith Baptist School is," because the teacher is that way.
So I guess, so ask the question, brought it back to us, ask you a question again. So even with that as an example of what we're coming from, what would you say about the appropriateness of the backlash that the public had to the comment that was made versus what you think was fair, wasn't fair, agree with? Where would you stand on all that? Where do you stand on all of that?
I actually sat in on the new teacher orientation like one day this summer, and they were talking about like what's appropriate to post on social media versus what's not appropriate to post on social media.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, there are some things that just like baffle me as an adult. Like, why would you ever put that on social media? Like, let alone being a teacher, but just like being as an adult. Like, it just doesn't, like, people just don't think before they post. But I totally agree that, I mean, we're human. Like, I hate having to kind of like, I feel guilty if I put like, I'm out having a drink or something like that. And I feel like, oh, am I getting judged because of like what I do? Like, I'm an adult woman. Like, I should be able to go and have a drink with my husband or with my girlfriends, like, and not feel like I'm looking like a certain way. But the things that were posted about that whole situation were like, there was no need for some of the comments that were made, and I fully agree that some reprimanding needed to be done, especially in like the role. Are they saying that in front of their students? Like, that's not appropriate.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
I do feel like there is a standard that we should hold ourselves to because of how we are like represented in the community. And yeah, I just think social media takes a huge, like, people just don't think, and it's affecting the students too. Like, the students are getting into having trouble with peers because of things that they're saying hidden behind their cell phones. So that's like a whole other conversation I could have about like now being in a middle school and how much impact these phones have on these children.
That'll be our last question tonight. Don't you worry, for real. Matt, what do you want
to?
to?
It sounds like you said though that the orientation that they are saying there is definitely a line.
They show us examples of things that people post.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, if you post this, like, you will get fired. Or he would be like, he would post it and he'd be like, do you think they got fired or not? And we'd have to think, and then like he would show us if they did or if they didn't, based on the posts.
Just for. Was that central office? Was that principal? Like, who led HR? Like, who led that one?
That was central, like someone high in the central office came and presented that.
Yeah, Matt's going to do that next year. He's going to give actual examples. I will
Yeah,
fire you over this.
It's actually, some of them are highly entertaining. You're like, what?
No, this was real. This was actually posted by somebody.
It's not like, and like he's like, yeah, this was posted by somebody in our area.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this isn't out there somewhere. Well, the discussion of teachers as role models, and to what extent should our teachers be held to a higher standard than? Don't hate me, everybody. Guys and girls that stand and flag to stop and start on the road on road work. You're like, not demeaning that job, but are they the same level of role model as someone who's in front of the impressionables? Like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And I think that when we to make the conscious choice to step, this is Mark Zockel's opinion, not Christine's opinion, but we step into this role, we are stepping consciously into you said it, they're sponges, they're
Yeah,
impressionable.
they are.
Through 12th grade, college kids, we're impressionable. Like, you are stepping in front. So it's
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
If I
go ahead.
wouldn't want, if I didn't care about my teacher setting a good example, my thing would be delete all social media. Don't even
Yeah.
do it.
Totally
But
forget
that's
all
But,
the
that.
other side of it.
So you guys comment about how high we should hold teachers, like the standard and like their role models, but yet we are one of the lowest paid professions in the entire world. And yet we're held to this really high standard of being role models for youth. And yet we literally don't get paid even like a glorified babysitter. I've done the math. I would be making
Mhm.
way more than I do if I was paid like a babysitter.
Yeah. Don't even get it started because
and going
Not
into
only
private
that,
school,
but-
part of that.
we were just talking about certifications too. Of
Mm-hmm.
they're wanting to make parents be certified in order to homeschool, which in some ways is good because you want parents to know what they're talking about when they're
Yeah.
educating their kids, but at the same time,
Not their
like,
right. Yeah.
we are doing everything we can to make sure that we are teaching kids the best we can,
Mm-hmm.
and yet, yeah, it doesn't quite seem leveled out.
Yeah.
Man, you touched on two big ones. You talked about the money,
I know,
the money
that's-
side of
that's
things. You
big.
talked about the other side. Well, I'll hit you with two, and you can make these one word answers or as long as short as you want because this is probably the last time. Unless Matt, are you dying? I got two. One's going to be about
I know the one you're
Chicago
asking, so go ahead.
Chicago teacher salary. Well, okay, while we're on this one, I'll ask that one. Christine, I have seen the Chicago teachers strike who are making $110,000. You're a teacher, you're an educator, I imagine you are in your teacher union. When you hear that, is there a point at which the striking is appropriate, is inappropriate? We're Chicago, so okay, higher cost of living, whatever else. What are your general thoughts when you see strikes around the country?
I mean, what are you going to do if all the teachers don't decide to come to work one day? There's really not much you can do because we have like 2 subs that come. So like the schools would kind of be like SOL if like teachers just didn't show up. So I mean, I feel like it could have an impact, but like what really much will it actually do? Because there's a lot more going into where our salaries come from than I think people who don't work in the education. I didn't even know till last year, or maybe the year before, how much goes into like where our salaries come from and what determines how much we get. So I mean,
Are you
yeah, it sounds great in theory, but I don't know how impactful they actually can be.
Are you in a situation where a very large proportion of what you came to understand would be your money comes from real estate taxes within the area?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yep. Which goes back to even conversations that have been had about. I saw conversations that were had about, well, if we get rid of the Department of Education, the federal Department of Education, how will we fund teachers? Like, we won't have any more teachers because teachers won't be able to make money. And it was one of those like, well, pause, don't get out of your depth. The federal government does not pay teachers' salaries. You paying your real estate taxes. That's what pays our teachers' salaries. We could go further, but just on that one point, random side note. Anyway, Matt, what was the other question I was going to ask? I got to hear from you.
Cell phones.
Yeah, that's right. Cell phones. Christine, tell us the youngest student you knew had a cell phone.
No, I'm pretty sure some of my kindergartners had cell phones.
Okay, gotcha.
So 5.
So what were the policies in place for cell phones from when you started teaching to now? And I mean, you're a school counselor now, you know those rules now, I'm sure too. So like, have you seen any kind of change in that policy? Has it been the same throughout? Have you seen it swing? What has it been from your start to now?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a no cell phone policy. in the school, but how many cell phones do I see during the day? Pretty much every student has their cell phone either in their hand or in their back pocket. I took a cell phone away because the kid had a sub and he was just using it. He was like hiding under his desk and like using his phone. Being in a middle school now changes my view on it completely than being in an elementary school because it really wasn't a problem
Oh, yeah. Talk to
with
us.
the
Talk to us about
little
that.
ones. But I feel like the cell phones are a big problem in middle school because there's supposed to be a no cell phone policy, but I don't know how enforced it's being. They're just like, I feel like they're causing a problem because like they're texting each other and they're like trying to meet up in the bathroom, and then being in the bathroom causes problems.
Is it if we see it, we take it? Is it that what
That's
the
what it
enforcement
should
is?
be. Yeah.
So it's up
But
to
I
the
don't know how
faculty
many
and staff. Yeah, they have to be the bad guys then. They have to be the
Yeah.
ones that come and take. Christine is anonymous here. Christine, in your time with cell phones administration, do you see administration enforcing cell phone policies?
Yeah.
And if, again, back to Christine's elementary school or Christine's middle school now, what would be your cell phone policy and how would you enforce it? Or to what extent would you enforce it?
In like the best case scenario, they would be in their lockers or like in their backpacks, not on their person throughout the day. Like I understand for the parents, like I didn't get I'm 30, but like I didn't get a cell phone until I was in middle school. I got on like the middle school soccer team. So like I had that so that I could text my mom when practice was over. Obviously it didn't have like the internet that they have now. And like I get like parents needing like wanting to know where their kids are, but they don't need them throughout the day. Like they need to be locked in their locker, in their backpack. Like if it needs to be on them at school, if like that's what the parent wants, like they don't need it with them in the classroom. It just causes distraction. It causes more problems than is good. Like they have iPads, so they don't really need their cell phone.
You tell me, if you are dealing with 100% 100% of the behaviors that you deal with. I'm saying negative behaviors, right? 100% of the negative behaviors that get brought to you as a school counselor, or just that you wouldn't be aware of in general, to go somewhere. How many of those what percentage of that would be gone if you remove, what percentage of that 100% that you currently have right now would be gone if cell phones, literally there was a force field around the school and there was no cell phones that could penetrate that force field? They crossed first step in and there was no cell phone. How much will your 100% drop? And I'm sure, again, whatever the percentage is it would drop would be replaced with something else, but for the first day anyway.
I don't know, at least 60%.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I believe it. I believe you.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe you. And let me ask you this, Matt. Could you tell us your cell phone policy at your school?
Yeah, we have zero cell phones, but
Sure.
they drop them off as they come in, which we're not dealing with the quantity, I'm sure, but yeah, they
Sure.
drop them as they come in and they pick them up as they leave.
So do you consider that, Christine, to be draconian, out of line, unnecessary, necessary, appropriate? Like, where would you be on that scale of
I'd be
appropriateness?
fine with it.
Be fine.
I'd be fine with it. I don't know if the parents would. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
To be fair, like not all of our parents are even 100% on board with that either. But that's where the over communication, and that's we make sure that we are very clear with what is going on at school. Anytime there's an emergency, that we're clearly communicating. If we're leaving for a trip, if we're coming back for a trip, if we're dealing with practice, like that communication is constant, so that having to communicate with our child independently it ought to be redundant, and that's kind of the idea that we try to push for. But it's a little bit maybe more manageable with my numbers, but as you expand out, you have more facilities to be able to accomplish that too. But
logistics would ramp up as the numbers ramp up. We're not interviewing you right now. Big
Come
bird.
on, bring it on.
Stay out of it. All right, Christine, we have taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much for coming on again and even answering some different questions tonight than you did the first time. And we are delighted to have you. Hopefully we weren't too mean or anything, just heard you out and enjoyed the
No.
time we had. I mean, really, I have been encouraged and enlightened. I'll say encouraged. There are
Mhm.
going to be stereotypes that are stuck on both sides. There's going to be thoughts that are had on both sides. Everybody's going to read. I'm gonna pick two news sources now. Okay, so I'm gonna pick let's pick like CNN and Fox. Everybody's gonna pick headlines from one or the other and have an issue. Blah blah blah. Whatever. So we can. It's good to hear from you. And do you have any questions for us? We've asked you a bunch of questions. Any questions for us? Matt even told you about his school a little bit. So
No, not really. I mean,
cool.
yeah. I mean, like, I love being a public school teacher. There's so much benefits to it. Like you said, there's like ups and downs of anywhere you could go.
Mhm.
I'm a product of public school. Um, and they need as much love and support as like your students need. Like every student needs love and support, and like I think, and there's so many fantastic teachers in this area that love what they do, that put so much passion and heart and everything into making sure that these children have the best education that they can.
Amen.
Hey, I can agree with that 100%. I'm there with you on that.
Mhm.
Awesome. Christine, thank you so much for your time. Feel free to step away. We've appreciated having you.
Bye.
Have a good night. Thank you. All right. Matt, who are we hearing from tonight as our Christian Minister Spotlight?
The one and the only Todd McCool.
Mr. McCool from Centerville Christian
McCool.
Academy. They're in South Boston. But no, folks, it's not Massachusetts. That's South Boston.
Not MA. It's VA.
That's the VA. Todd, I'm going to pray for you now, Mr. McCool. Father in heaven, I thank you so much for Todd. I thank you so much for the opportunity that we have had to discuss with our peer in a sister institution, a public institution, what she believes, what she has found, what she has walked through. And it would have been a delight to have the same conversation with Mr. McCool. It would have been a delight to have the same conversation with Todd. But as he perhaps even hears this episode, as he works through his thoughts on these things and others for his school, bless him in the work, bless those he touches. And as Christine was saying, might he be able to offer love, and we would say biblical Christ-like love, to every student he comes in contact with at that school. And we will love you and praise you for the work he is doing, and you allow him to do there in South Boston. Amen.
Man.
All right, Matt. Well, a lot to digest there, but we're not going to do that live. We're going to do that off air. So everybody else, thanks for growing with us today.
We want to thank you for listening. We're honored that you spend this time with us each week. Our heart is to bring you practical conversations and resources that really serve you as a Christian school leader. One of the best ways you can help us spread the word is by leaving us a review and sharing the podcast with other Christian school principals you're connected with. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Join the conversation and share any posts that resonate with you. Every share makes a difference in helping more leaders find encouragement and practical tools. And remember, the podcast is just one way we help. We also love serving schools through speaking and workshops. Our keynotes and sessions are designed to give you actionable strategies you can take back to your team and implement right away. If you'd like more details, just send us an email at info@christianprinciplespodcast.com. We'd love to connect. Until next time, thanks for joining us on the Christian Principles Podcast.